Hello, Virgo, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're having a great day. I'm getting over a summer cold, so please excuse my scratchy voice today and maybe a little coughing, sneezing, whatever might be happening. I'm trying to wrap that up, and I feel like I'm almost there. I hope you have not had that same experience. I hate summer colds because you feel miserable and hot, and it's hot out, and it's just awful. So anyway, little grace when it comes to that today with my scratchy voice. Anyway, this will be your weekly reading, Virgo, for August 16th through the 22nd. And during that time, we have a mostly waxing crescent energy for the first part of the week. And that's a time of heightened senses, a good time for us to work on those things that we just started or start those new things that we decided on during the new moon. But we're planning and beginning those workings and getting things, get the ball rolling on those things and living up to our expectations and our intentions. We then have our first interrupter of the cycle, which is the first quarter moon. And it's almost like the full moon energy, except it only lasts for a couple of hours or maybe just the day and that comes in on the 20th, that first quarter. And then you might feel impulsive, impatient, maybe your mind's a little bit active. So plan accordingly. That's either a time when you need to be in control and dominate those impulses, or a time when you just maybe need to plan an easier day that day. So please keep those moon energies in mind as we move through the week. This will be an intuitive general reading for energies that you may or may not encounter, Virgo. So as always, please take what resonates and leave what doesn't here on the table for someone else. And your overall message for this reading is that prosperity lies ahead. Okay, let's see what the Virgo Collective has going on for the week. And usually this would be where I would do my little side notes of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a weekly fun reminder that I usually do. But this week's a little different. I need your help on something, and that is that I'm thinking about doing the occasional live stream. And what I need from you is just to drop me a comment on, is there a day of the week or a time of day? And also maybe leave your time zone of when you might do that. Maybe Tuesdays at 10, you find yourself being bored, if you're a night owl, or Saturdays at 4 p.m. Is there a time when you might participate more often in a live stream? So, and that would be where I would just take questions, maybe do 1 or 2 card readings for you. So anyway, let me know in the comments if there's a time that might work out best for you. So, all right, Virgo, let's get into this reading, August 16th through the 22nd, and we've got cards popping out already. Let's see, prosperity lies ahead. And your first card that pops out is the death card, which means that there is something coming to an end for you. Death doesn't have to mean actual death. It usually means just the ending of something. It's a little more final. When we have those tens of the different suits, those are endings as well. And we might see if any of those pop out during this reading. But it just means there's something that you're done with. You're putting it down. You're done doing it. It could be this could be it's a transformation of some sort. So maybe you're moving from one job to the next. You're done with this job. It could be a position at work where you're moving out of one position into another. There's just so many different things. It could be that you have a child that's going off to college, and you're now going to be an empty nester. So that's the death of one thing and the beginning of new things. But with any ending like this, it just leaves space to open up the new thing and the next thing that's coming for you. And we'll see if this reading lets us know what that might be for you. Your current situation here is that, you're at a decision point with the Two of Swords. And because with any ending that comes about, you're making decisions about where am I headed next. And you might not be ready to make that decision yet. You might not be sure. And that's fine. We're making those decisions in these calm emotional waters. So, this is really thinking it through and just taking that time to think through what your next step might be. And there's no rush. There's no rush to do that. You can take a little time, especially if you're in a big transition mode like this, especially a bigger transition that comes with the death card, that you can take some time. There should be no rush on making that next step, that next decision quite yet. At the root of your situation is the Nine of Swords. So you've already been feeling a little bit of anxiety about it, or you are currently feeling this anxiety about this ending. And I'm going to use again that maybe it's just the empty nesters type syndrome. And I know people that will fret about this and, oh, what am I going to do? And, well, you get to recreate yourself. It's how many times in our lives do we get to do that? Pretty often, really. I can think of different times throughout my own life where it's like, well, I was doing, like maybe school, I was doing this thing and now I'm not. Now I have to move into this professional life, or, I wasn't a mother and now I am. I get to move into that kind of. So it's that kind of transitional where it seems like it's a pretty big transition for you. Um, and you're just going to have to make decisions and manage things the best you can. This is the phase. And what the saying is, this too shall pass. Even when you enter into a phase, the anxiety about it starts to lessen as you start to make those decisions and move forward in that decision. It starts to, where it's a little scary at first. It's like once you start doing those new things, you're like, oh, okay, this isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So keep that in mind too. In your recent past, Ace of Cups. So, Ace of Cups is really about having an open heart, and it could be about moving, it's at least about moving into this with some openness and with, understanding that the big changes like this do bring forth different decisions that you have to make, but you seem kind of open about it. You knew it was coming. It doesn't seem like it was a big surprise. And you are just going to have to embrace some new things that, again, might seem anxious and anxiety ridden at first, but it'll become more and more routine as you get into it. What is on your mind this week is, yeah, there's really nothing you can do. These seeds have been planted. It's not time to harvest it, and it's not time to do any work. You're just kind of waiting it out. I mean, I feel like, I don't want to say the word stagnant, but it does feel like there's not a lot that goes on this week. You're kind of thinking these thoughts. You haven't really made decisions yet, but you're just kind of almost like absorbing the shock of whatever this ending has been. That it's like, and I'll use the empty net, like the empty nester thing again. If you feel that coming, and it's you don't really know what it feels like until it actually happens. You can kind of speculate and think, oh, well, this is going to be the way this is, but until you come home and you're in that quiet, empty house and it's quiet and you're thinking, wow, this is real now. It's like that reality hits home. So whatever this transition is for you, I do kind of feel like you're kind of absorbing it this week, and maybe you're not making big decisions, and that will come within the next few weeks that come about for you. What is just ahead of you is the Five of Swords here. So, this is, I do feel like there might have been some, fives are conflict. Let's start there with the numerology of fives. Fives are about conflict. We're looking at some cloudy skies here in this card where some things said that maybe some feelings were hurt, or things that you wish you could take back, or someone wishes they could take back. So, and this is ahead of you. So just watch what your words are, right? Just be careful that we're not trying to create those kind of feelings, even if it's just misconstrued, if it's not really what you meant, because it looks like you have an open heart, but make sure that you're choosing your words wisely, I'm going to say. In your advice position here is the Knight of Swords. So, you know, this is where choose your words wisely, but the Knight of Swords is coming in and just dropping messages and doing things. So maybe take a step back from that. Take a step back. Let this week be calmer. Make sure that you're not rushing off to judgment or saying things, and try to keep that open heart thing, and know that you're going through a big transition. And it might not be time, you might be communicating things that you're feeling, but it's maybe not how you're going to feel in 2 weeks from now. So just let yourself settle and set with the new feelings and new things that come with this ending that you're going through right now. What is beyond your control this week is a Tower card. So yeah, you're going to feel like everything's just falling apart. Um, and I get that. We all go through, when we go through changes like that, it's like, you feel like a loss of control. Um, so make sure when you are feeling, I'm going to say keep to yourself a little bit if you can this week. Let's not communicate a lot. These feelings and things that you're feeling, maybe journal them, write them down. Whatever it is that you do, whether it's art, if you have some sort of outlet to kind of just get your feelings out, whether it's, creativity or art or that sort of thing, that it's not about exchanging words with people as much as about managing your thoughts and emotions at this time. What is your secret desire, or what are you trying to avoid? Well, of course, your secret desire is the Ten of Pentacles, which is why any of us kind of go through anything, is we do want long-term wealth, long-term security, and that is what your secret desire. I doubt if you're trying to avoid that. So make sure you're not damaging things again by saying things that are out of turn or out of some emotion that you're feeling right now, when you may not really feel that way. And especially when things calm down, how things, um, the impact of something, of course, it's hard when it first happens, and then as the days and weeks go on, that impact lessens and you feel a little bit differently, right? So that's kind of the feeling that I'm getting here, is not to react so harshly to this impact, but sit with it for a minute. What is in your outcome card here is the Three of Wands. Okay, so that's interesting. Three of Wands is really about new ventures. So I was saying that with the Death card, when you have endings, what does it do? It opens up these spaces for these new beginnings. And I think if you keep to yourself a little bit this week, you're going to kind of start to see the light here, which is definitely what that is. And this could be, it's new things that are coming about, new things that you might want to engage in. It could also be just about travel and maybe just getting out of your environment for a little bit. In the next few weeks, even if it's a long weekend or something, just getting out of your environment to have that time to gain that mental clarity and to think things through without being in your current surroundings. Sometimes just getting away is really the best thing. Get away so you can have some time to think. All right, what's hidden from you, Virgo? At the bottom of the deck is the Two of Wands. So this is about thinking about the future and deciding if you want to move forward in a different way in the future. This is kind of are we going to go bigger yet? And I don't know if we're quite there yet. Again, we've got this too, where there's some decisions, things that you need to think through. Can you get away for a little bit to maybe make those decisions and kind of get some clarity again out of your normal environment? So remember, prosperity lies ahead. So that was your overall, and the overall a lot of times has to do with this secret desire trying to avoid card. And is it your secret desire? So, and if that's what that is, prosperity does lie ahead. This little thing, again, this too shall pass. You move forward. The impact at first is hard, and then after those effects do lessen. It's stressful at first, but then as the weeks and months go on with whatever change you're going through, it does lessen and it feels better. And you just think about the future too as you move forward. We're not doing it quite yet, but you'll get there. All right, Virgo, let's see what you need to do in the way of self-care for this week as you're going through this. Self-care is to live life to the fullest. Yeah, I mean, what is it? If you're going to dream big, if you're going to dream, I'm saying dream big. Again, let's keep quiet maybe with the communications this week. And again, try to plan maybe a long weekend to get through and then live your life that way. Live your life to the fullest. Enjoy yourself. Let's not have these anxiety ridden nights. All right, what do you need to do in the way of self-care? Self-care for Virgo this week. And the card for you is the card called Passion. Light up your life by honoring your deepest desires. I mean, I feel like these other cards are really pointing you, what are your deepest desires? How can you live life to the fullest? What are those big questions? Like, what do you really want right now? I feel like is maybe the decision point that you're at, that you've come to this ending, and it's just about, and that decision can't be made overnight. It may not even be made in a week. Tarot readings happen in a week, but life goes on and on and on. This may take you a few months to even kind of wrap your mind around this ending and get to where you can answer these questions, is how can you live your life to the fullest? And what is it? What are your deepest desires? Sometimes that's hard to answer. So take the time to really, go inward a little bit, be quiet. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe next week we saw that Hermit card come out for you, which I do believe is the card of Virgo. But just do that inner thinking, that inner quest, so that you can decide what are your deepest desires and how can you live life to your fullest. And when you do that, prosperity will lie ahead for you. So thank you so much, Virgo, for being here. I want to wish you the best of luck with this. I hope there was something in this reading that you can take away and use in a positive way in your life this week. If you're comfortable sharing, of course, drop me a comment down below or questions. I'd be happy to answer those for you. And if you like my reading style, hitting like and subscribe is one way to show me that. And I do appreciate that of you guys so, so much. And thank you so much for being here, Virgo. Good luck with this, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.